Pushpinder and I are very much looking forward to have you here with us. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes to have people, trickle in. And then we're going to introduce the event, and then Pushpinder is going to go ahead and share with us a lot of great tips on how to reduce anxiety, how anxiety is connected to depression, and all of that. So thank you for joining us. As I was just mentioning, we're just going to wait for people to join in. And as they join in, we are going to introduce ourselves and we're going to dive right in. We're very much looking forward to this conversation. Pushpinder is based in India and I'm based in Canada. So all across the world, we are coming together to really discuss this very important discussion. So I'm going to give it just one more minute. Just let people in. Just, feel free to chat. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any particular questions, we are going to open up for that. We do want to have you guys participate in the conversation as well. All right, Pushpinder, are you ready?
Yeah, always ready. Let's start. And I think few people already know the drill, that I would be chanting a certain mantra for 60 seconds to 90 seconds, and after chanting that mantra, I will start with the explanation. So
Okay.
till that time, people
Perfect.
could like, share, and comment in the post, and of course, they could share it even in the gallery. Okay, so I would be chanting a certain mantra for 60 seconds. एक सतनाम पढ़ता पुरख अकाल मूरत अजूनी भंग गुर पद गुर पद जो हुआ होवत सो जाने, प्रभ अपने का हुक्म पशाने। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So you guys should be hearing a certain background noise. Let me just activate the noise cancellation. Now you guys wouldn't be hearing any kind of background noise. So anxiety and depression, and as you guys can see that the topic of today's event is how is anxiety a recreation of depression. Somewhere this would be new to people, right? Now somewhere we need to understand the constant motion which is going on within the mind, at the same time a certain kind of motion which is going on outside as well, because I had said it previously that whatever we see outside, it's just like a movie. It's like this movie is going on inside, and the mind is using the body as a projector to project it outside. That is why the law of Mother Nature and the law of human nature is exactly the same. You can even say that Mother Nature is a creation of internal nature. You can even say that. It's just a Xerox copy. So, this motion which is going on within the mind, it started with, you can either say, the Big Bang, or from a spiritual perspective, the big roar, because that sound, that bang, is responsible for the expansion of the universe. That sound is still on, and this sound is responsible for this expansion which is constantly happening within the universe. And if you observe, the mind is also in constant motion, right? There are thoughts which are constantly being created within our mind, one after another, right? There is a motion, right? And if you observe externally, everything is in motion, right? The earth is revolving around its own axis. At the same time, it is rotating around sun, right? All the planets are rotating around the sun. And if you observe nature, everything is in constant motion. And at the same time, everything is in constant movement. That is why there is evolution. That is why there is growth. That is why there is birth and death as well. It's just due to this motion. So, for us to understand that how anxiety is a recreation of depression, first we need to understand that how and when did mind get created in the first place, and where does the mind reside. After all, to reach the resolution, first we need to understand the complication. For an example, if there is a problem within the body, right? So the first thing which the doctor needs to do is he needs to identify where the problem is. Let's say if the problem is within the heart, the doctor needs to know where the heart is located, right? And how the heart works. That's when he's capable enough to cure the heart or whatever problem is there is in the heart, right? But if the doctor does not know where the heart resides, or if he does not know the process of heartbeat, or how this process of constant heartbeat is on, would he be able to operate the heart? No, he wouldn't be able to. Same way, to reach the resolution, first we need to understand the complication. And for that, we need to understand that where is the mind located and how was it created in the first place. For that, up to a certain extent, we need to understand this motion. This motion is constantly on, right? And this motion is on in a certain speed, right? And that's what time is. That's what creates time, I would say. Time is essentially a calculation of speed, right? For an example, let's say if a car is in motion, let's say if it is traveling about 50 kilometers per hour, or 60 kilometers, or 100 kilometers per hour, right? Now, 60 kilometers, this is the speed. Per hour, this is the time. Hour, minutes, seconds, days, week. This is time, right? Now this motion is constantly on, and the calculation of this motion is time. And time is divided into three dimensions, which is present tense, past tense, and the future tense. If you observe, anxiety is related with the future tense and depression is related with the past tense. Hence, these dots connect with each other. So kindly observe carefully. Whatever we are observing and whatever is happening, whatever is in flow, we can witness it, observe it in the present tense. And it is this present tense which is converting into the past tense. As soon as this present tense converts into the past tense, this is exactly where memory gets created. This is exactly where the mind gets created. For an example, let's say I had given you a certain kind of an explanation. I had given you, right? Few seconds ago or a minute ago. Now, when I say few seconds ago or a minute ago, I am indicating towards the past tense, right? Now, when your mind needs to recollect memory, if it needs to remember that what did this guy say a minute ago, right? In this situation, your attention is flowing towards the past tense to remember whatever I had said a minute ago. That means that's where the memory resides, in the past tense, right? And what is the mind? Mind is the cultivation of memories and energies, right? So that's where the mind resides, in the past tense. Usually, I think science is also in the process of finding out that where is the mind, and psychologists also wonder where is the mind. Now, the mind is not stored somewhere within the body. Everything you see around you is the mind. Ravit Rose is the mind for my mind. She is just memory for my mind. I remember few of the participants like Shibaji. She's a part of my mind. She's memory for my mind. Everything is mind. Everything is memory. Right? So I wouldn't dive much more deeper into that. So memory and hence mind reside within the past tense, and mind. Memory is the creation of time. How did it get created? There is a certain motion. This motion, the calculation of this motion itself is time. And when time converts from present to past, this is exactly where memory or the mind gets created, right? Now, how do we come to know that anxiety is a recreation of depression? As said, anxiety is related with the future tense and depression is related with the past tense. And it is the past tense which recreates itself in the form of future tense. How do we come to know about it? For that, you can observe the time which is going on in your mobile phone or in your clock or somewhere. Right now, it's you know what? Let's have some fun over here. Ravit, what is the time for you over there in Canada?
So I'm in Eastern time zone and it's 11:15 a.m.
11:15 a.m. Right now, 11:14 p.m. is in your past tense, right?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, a.m. Right? 11:14 a.m. is in your past tense, and
Yes.
11:16 a.m. is in your future tense, isn't it so?
That's right.
Right. Now, this 11:16 a.m. after few seconds, which is the future tense, will arrive in the present tense, right? 11:16 a.m. is going to arrive in the present tense any moment right now.
Yes.
Yes. Now, this 11:16 a.m. when it arrives in your present tense, after 1 minute, it will again move towards the past tense because 11:17 a.m. will arrive in the present tense. Isn't it so?
Yes.
Exactly. So, what's the date today? 11th of September, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, 11th of September, 11:14 p.m. is your nearest past tense, right? Now this 11:14 a.m. will once again arrive tomorrow, will it?
That's right. Yes, it will.
Exactly. So what is happening over here? You can mute yourself right now. So what is happening over here? The future is arriving in the present is moving towards the past, and the past is recreating itself in the form of future, and future is again arriving in the present, present, past, future, present, present, past. That is why if you observe the cycle of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah, blah, blah. January, February, March, April, blah, blah, blah. And it is in constant cycle because the universe within itself is a perfect recycle bin. It is in constant cycle. That is why I made you observe that the earth is revolving around its own axis and it is revolving around sun. All the planets are revolving around sun and this is motion. And the calculation of motion is time. And time within itself is a constant cycle which is on, right? So what do we come to know here? Now we have understood external mother nature. At the same time, the calculation of time, right? Up to a certain extent. Now this exact cycle is going on within the mind as well. How's that? How does depression recreate anxiety? Now, as you guys know that I've already made you understood that present converts into the past, right? Now, let's say I have a friend, right? And I had lent money to my friend about 3 months ago, right? And my friend had promised me that he would return that money back to me within a span of 2.5 months. All right. Kindly pay attention. I had given my friend money about 3 months ago, and 3 months ago, he had promised me that he's going to return back my money within a span of 2.5 months. That means 15 days are already overdue. Now I approach my friend. Let's say I call him up and I would say that, yeah, I need my money back because right now I am in urgent need as well. Now this guy starts to delay because somewhere he's also in a helpless situation and he cannot return my money back to me, right? And he says, no, yeah, right now for the time being, I'm not having money. He would say that, okay, fine, I need more 2 months. He delays it more further. Then again, I approach him after 3 months. Again, he says the same thing. Right. Now, after 3 months, when I again approach him and he says the same thing, then naturally, in this situation, I would start to repent and why the hell did I give him money? Because what happens is that when money comes into the picture, somewhere friendship also gets spoiled. And when I am badly in need of money, then in that situation, I would start to repent, isn't it, sir? It's quite natural. Now, when I repent my past actions, that will push my mind towards depression because the starting point of depression is attachment. For an example, people who lose money, right? They move into the state of depression. It's not just money. Let's say if somebody loses a father, or somebody loses a mother, or somebody loses a wife, somebody loses a husband, and blah, 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 right? Essentially, they are attached with it, right? Attached with them or attached with it. They are attached with their father or mother or sister, brother, and even money. And if they lose them, that means this particular emotion, which is actually known as mo, and the closest word in English language is attachment. So it is not the precise word. By the way, this is an emotion. So what happens is that this emotion is torn apart into two pieces, and this is what gives us pain because we have lost it. And when we lose something, that's what pushes us towards loneliness. Depression cannot happen without loneliness. So loss pushes us towards loneliness. And in the state of loneliness, a person starts to overthink, right? Overthinking is not possible when a person is constantly busy. When he's lonely, when he has completely isolated himself, that's when the mind starts to overthink, right? So now our here is to overthink and repent that why the hell did I give him money? Now observe Money is also attachment. My emotions were attached with money. I lost it now, right? So I've started to depend it. Why the hell did I give him money? Now this state of mind creates a new state of mind. What is that? It creates a doubt for me. Now over here, slowly, depression is converting into anxiety. Past is recreating itself into future tense. It creates a doubt for me that would I ever get my money back? Now that is a doubt. This doubt creates fear within me. This is a doubt that whether I would get my money back or not, back or not, back or not. This will create fear from within me. And fear leads to anxiety. Now, if you observe, I was repenting about my past tense that why the hell did I give him money 3 months ago? This led to the future tense. Whether I will get the money back or not. This is the future tense, right? When I say I will get it or not, I'm indicating towards the future tense. This is how depression recreates anxiety. Anxiety is a recreation of depression because future tense is a recreation of the past. So, this is exactly how external mother nature and internal human nature are aligned with each other. They are not separate from each other. So, till now, I have explained you that how the mind got created and where the mind is located. And at the same time, I had also explained to you that how the present converts into the past and how the past recreates itself in the form of future tense. And how the mind as well as the universe is in constant motion. Somewhere we also need to understand the nature of the mind. For an example, last time I had claimed that I apologize in the start itself that somewhere modern day science and psychologists are not capable enough to understand the mind, understand the nature of mind. But later on, just because I did not have time to explain it, hence I took my claim back. Now, why do I say that? Let's see if there is a Ferrari, right? And Ferrari is such kind of a car which is one of the latest technologies, right? It is a very complicated technology. And of course, it is very expensive as well. Let's say there is a mechanic who wants to understand the technology of this Ferrari, right? Now, let's say this Ferrari is in constant motion, 50 kilometers per hour, or traveling about 100 kilometers per hour or so. Now, in this situation, when this Ferrari is in constant motion, will this mechanic be able to understand the technology of this Ferrari when it is in constant motion? No, he would not be able to. For him to understand the technology of Ferrari, he needs to stop the motion of Ferrari. And the motion of Ferrari just does not need to be stopped. The engine also needs to be cooled down. When the motion of Ferrari has been stopped, and of course, when the Ferrari stops and when the engine cools down, that's when this mechanic will break down Ferrari part by part, piece by piece. Why is he breaking down Ferrari completely? So that he can completely understand the technology of Ferrari. Same law applies to the mind. The mind is in constant motion. That is why one after another it is creating thoughts. Right? It is in constant motion. And to understand the nature of mind, this motion needs to stop. How can this motion stop? It is usually said that We need to stabilize our mind within the present tense. That's what stopping this motion is. But if you observe, it is very damn hard to stop the motion going on within the mind, to stop the thoughts, to stop the emotions. It is very, very, very hard. But whosoever stop this motion going on within the mind, they gain the ability to break down the mind completely. For an example, one aspect of the mind is that it is divided into 84 lakh different kind of parts. One aspect of the mind is this. One of aspect of the mind which is derived from Buddhism, which Buddhism says that mind is divided into four parts, which is Man, Buddh, Chit, Ahang, right? One of the aspect of the mind is it is divided into three parts, which is Achet, Archet, Suchet, which is commonly known as conscious, subconscious, unconscious mind, right? One of the aspect of the mind is it is divided into 114 parts. One more aspect of the mind is that it is divided into 7 parts. One more aspect of the mind is that it is divided into 6 parts. That means somebody stopped the motion of the mind completely and broke it down. That is why he gave this information that the mind is divided into so many parts. Just because he stopped the motion going on within the mind. And I'm sorry to say, it is only a spiritualist through deep meditative and spiritual practices, he is capable enough to stop the motion going on within the mind. I'm sorry to say, modern day science or even psychologists are not capable to do that. If psychologists or psychiatrists or scientists are capable enough to do that, then they are no longer psychologists, psychiatrists, or scientists. They become spiritualists. Because to stop the motion going on within the mind, they need to be deeply spiritual and deeply meditative. Right? I usually say this, that we need to set the mind on fire. That's when the mind becomes the light. Right? If you observe the sun is providing us with light, right? How is it providing us with light? Just because it is a huge ball of fire. Light is an outcome of fire, right? And when this mind becomes the light completely, this is what enlightenment is, when the mind becomes the light. But for that, one needs to set the mind on fire by constantly trying to stabilize the mind in the present tense. Though it is said that mind stabilizes in the present tense, but present tense is just a lobby. Present tense is the lobby which leads towards the tenseless, towards the timeless. This is where the mind completely stabilizes. So now you guys have understood that how deeply spiritual people understood the nature of mind and where it is located and how it was created in the first place and whatever I have explained you, right? Now, actually, my intention was not such that I would be explaining this dimension, but Sister Sheba had given a comment in the comment section that she wanted to understand that how is depression masculine and how is anxiety feminine, how is future tense feminine and how is past tense masculine. Now, if you observe the nature of a woman and a man is more of intellect, he's more of logic, and a woman is more of intuition. Thus, a woman within herself is a mystical dimension, right? That is why it is commonly said that it is impossible to understand a woman because she is a mystical dimension. And if you observe, Future tense is a mystical dimension as well. Future tense is an unknown territory, and past tense is a known territory. Knowledge is a known territory. Right? Intellect is a known territory. And intellect is masculine in nature. For an example, I had just explained this that memory resides within the past tense, right? Right now, I am giving you, by the Sadhguruji's grace, I am giving you information, I am giving you knowledge. How am I capable to give you knowledge if I do not remember what words to use? That means my mind is constantly collecting memory, knowledge from the past tense and delivering it in the present tense. Now, where is knowledge? Where is memory? Past tense. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is masculine. That means past tense is masculine. And future tense is feminine. For an example, in Christianity, it is said that a woman is a certain part of the bone of a man. I'm not able to put it into words in a perfect manner. In Christianity, it is said. Now, this is actually a metaphor. Do not take it in a literal manner. Somewhere, this is what it indicates towards, and of course, it also indicates towards universal consciousness and Mother Nature as well, because Mother Nature is feminine in nature. That is why it is known as Mother Nature. Yesterday, I was saying this in an online event that on the upper layer of physicality, everybody is a woman, regardless of the gender, including me, I'm a woman. Because how do you differentiate? How do you identify the difference in between a man and a woman? It's due to the body, right? And the body is Mother Nature, and mother is a term used for a woman. Hence, everybody, regardless of the gender, is a woman. It's just that we men are secondary women, and women are primary women. That is why we are born out of them. So, this is how anxiety is feminine in nature and depression is masculine in nature. This is how past tense is masculine in nature and anxiety is feminine in nature. Though I did not have an intention to describe this, explain this, but somewhere Sister Shiba had commented on this. So I was like, okay, fine, let's explain it up to a certain extent. But of course, I can go on, move further. But for the timing, I will stop with this explanation. And the last explanation is this that our mind is the closest companion to us, isn't it, sir? Our wife is not the closest companion. Our husband is not the closest companion. Our brother, our sister, our mother, father, our children are not the closest companions to us. Our mind is the closest companion to us, right? And what has happened in today's date is that this closest companion, which should have been our best friend, has become our worst enemy. That is why it is creating all these situations, problems, sickness of anxiety and depression and so on. Just because it has become our worst enemy, though it should have been our best friend, right? Few days ago I was saying this that the nature of our mind is just like a wife. A wife seeks attention from the husband, right? Same way, the mind also seeks attention. If the husband does not provide the wife with attention, then the wife is going to create a living hell for the husband. That's the fact. Same way, if the mind is creating a living hell for us, that means it is seeking attention and we are not paying attention to the mind. What is meditation? The process of paying attention to the mind. That's what the mind is created out of. It requires attention. For an example, our body is made out of food, water, and so on. Do not we feed the body with healthy food and healthy water so that the body could remain healthy? We do, right? Same way, the mind is also a creation of emotions, energies, and memories, and flow on. And our attention is constantly flowing outside. So we need to feed the mind with attention. Otherwise, it is going to die out of hunger. And if it dies out of hunger, then naturally it is going to give us pain as well because we are not separate from mind. And if the mind is not peaceful, then naturally our life wouldn't be peaceful as well. If our life is not peaceful, then naturally we would be disrupting peace around in and around the atmosphere, right? And whosoever is around us, if we disrupt the peace in our atmosphere, then everybody is going to run away from us. This is what leads to divorce kind of issues as well. Either the husband will run away from the wife, either the wife will run away from the husband, either the brother and sister would run away from each other, right? So, hence, we need to pay attention to the mind so that the mind could create peace from within itself, and thus our life could be peaceful as well, and we could create a peaceful atmosphere around us so that such kind of situations wouldn't arise as well. So, for the time being, I'll pause the explanation and I will hand it over to Ravit. Ravit, you can take it over from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pushpinder. I learned so much today, and I love it because I always love looking at life, situations, challenges, difficulties from a new perspective. I'm the type of person where I always feel like there's a solution to every single problem, and sometimes it's enlightening and relieving and empowering to learn a different way of looking at things, a different way of analyzing or understanding how life works. And sometimes this understanding really just creates this beautiful light into your life where you say like, the situation, that problem is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I like this timeline very much. I come from a divorce space. So I help parents who are, contemplating divorce or newly separated to help them decide logically and methodically whether to stay married or get divorced. I am the founder of the Irooze app and also the divorce directory. So everything that I do is to help individuals find resources, find solutions, open up their minds to see things differently, to plant seeds of thought into their minds. So from the perspective of somebody who works in and really focuses daily on trying to find amicable solutions for individuals so that we don't have to have, such terrible, nasty divorces, and also perhaps save marriages. There's a couple of takeaways that I really liked. So, and I'm sharing this with you because today was an introduction to our event on Sunday. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the event on Sunday. So if anybody's going through relationship issues, whether it's marital issues or whether it's separation or divorce, a couple of the takeaways that I felt were really powerful was really looking at your past, present, future as a timeline and making sure you're always moving into that timeline at the right space, at the right speed. So if you go too fast, it's like a car driving through the highway. If you pass the speed limit, you're already sort of into the future. If you're lagging behind, you're sitting into the past. You always want to keep on going with the momentum of traffic. You always have to follow the flow of traffic. And it works the same way in your mind. Follow the flow of your mind. So don't speed up, don't sit too far behind. And remember that helping your mind stay stable and calm is going to help you as an individual to find that inner peace, to be able to be quiet in your life, and also to learn how to respond to situations rather than to be explosive, bombastic, and react to what's happening in front of you. And this happens to in relationships, all the time. So Pushpinder was talking about how your mind is like your wife. I mean, I was laughing because it's true. As women, we do look for attention. And I would further say that your ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-wife is also seeking attention as equally as your ex-husband is looking for attention. So if you learn to quiet your mind and you are able to control the conversation and you're able to control what's happening, you literally have just created this synergy in this conversation, in this challenge, and you've just avoided a possibly horrendous fight, or what I call these massive battles. So often enough people say, oh, but the other person doesn't want to do this, and it's the other person's fault that they don't want to change. But change and it doesn't necessarily have to come from someone else. It comes from you. So if you're able to find the peace and you're able to set your mind straight, as Pushpinder was starting to explain, you've already gained significantly in more ways than you could ever imagine. So we'll talk more about that on Sunday. So I did want to share a little bit with you on Sunday, and then we're opening up for some Q&A. So we are having, today was an introduction to our event on Sunday, which is titled Overcoming Anxiety, Identifying Different Reasons and Emotions Behind Your Fear. It's going to take place this Sunday, September 17th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's an online event. I've been messaging some of you in the background and inviting you to connect so that I could send you the invitation as well. But if you're in the chat and you want to send a message to Pushpinder as well, you could also do that just to get access to the link so you could read more about it. It costs in Canadian dollars, $19.57. And in US, obviously, it'll be lower than that. And if you're from a third world country, there is a free charge to that. You could also ask Pushpinder for that. So essentially what we're going to be talking about on Sunday is exploring this in greater detail. Like, for example, today Pushpinder focused on the mind and talked about past, present, and future. And then now on Sunday, he'll be going into like, what's the connection between fear, impatience, anger, and ego? So looking at all the negative emotions that we are familiar with. And then he's going to talk about anxiety, self-harm, suicide. What's the distribution between masculinity and femininity? What are the similarities between anxiety and excitement? How anxiety is also a recreation of depression. So in situations where you're having issues in your personal life and or marital issues and or divorce issues, often enough it starts your fears create this anxiety of things that never even happened yet, and we tend to overthink and over traumatize things that may possibly happen one day. And I see very often how many people end up in depression just because of this constant motion going on in their minds and this overactivity. Also, he's going to be talking about survival mechanisms, facing fear and moving beyond his boundary. The role of attachment. Fear lies in the absolute truth. I mean, this is an incredible event for an hour and a half for less than $20 Canadian, or about $15 US. This is really not. This is really very, very affordable. So it's an Eventbrite event. So do make sure that you send us messages if you want to join us. And then furthermore, after that point, after attending the event on Sunday, if you want to continue working with Pushpinder, he also has some different packages where you can work with him through his meditation practice as well. And he offers like weekly, bi-weekly meditations, and all sorts of great packages. There's a lot of opportunity here for you to grow, learn, expand, and bring yourself to the next level of wherever it is that you want to go. So Pushpinder, I think I'm going to open it up to you. I don't see the chat, so maybe you do. We're also going
Yeah.
to we've also recorded this event, so it's going to be available. And the event on Sunday is also going to be recorded. So if you want to join us, make sure that you grab yourself a ticket and a spot. And if you can stay for part of it or not all of it, and then you'll always have the recording to fall back on as well, which I'm sure is going to be quite a lightning as much as today's was. So Pushpinder, I'm going to pass over the mic to you now.
Yeah. So she has already explained everything. So thank you for that brief explanation. So, guys, if you have any kind of questions, so you guys could come up over here and whatever was explained, of course, it is natural, right? If you understand a certain something, as soon as the mind receives the answer, it creates a new question. So it is quite natural. So if you guys would like to ask any kind of questions, you can raise your hand and come up over here. Let the security space be. I would be answering your questions. So to raise your hand, you need to click the button on the right hand side bottom. Okay, Shiba ji is over here. Just give me a moment. Oh, hello Shiba ji. How are you doing?
Hi Pushpinder, hi Rose. I'm good. Am I audible?
Yeah, loud and clear. Absolutely. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that it's a wonderful session, very deep but complicated, I will be honest. And the concept of psychological location of the mind and memories, this was very interesting. Thank you for choosing the subject. Very important to discuss and address. You started from the cell level to the disease level of the depression, and just I would like to know that how to detach depression from anxiety. I think the next question will be that only: how is anxiety a recreation of depression, and how do we detach it? Hopefully, I'm right. And
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I
Go
really
ahead, please.
like the idea. Yeah, sorry. I really like the idea of depression being masculine and like anxiety being feminine. I can see some gender biasness, but nevertheless, jokes apart. I think depression is called masculine because it is very strong, very rigid, very not easily, not easily we are able to get rid of it, and it is very long-term accumulation of stress, and we all know what is that about. So, and anxiety at the same time, it's a quality of worrying about the things which do not exist. Constant worry, overthinking, as Rose also said. So I do agree with that, but very good interpretation and rather good metaphor. And my second question would be, what will we call the present? If depression is past and is masculine, and if anxiety is a future and feminine, what will be the present state of mind called? Is it peace or happiness? And gender gender thing will leave. Maybe you'll be able to give it a
Yeah.
metaphor.
So the thing is that if you observe, for an example, you are an Indian, you would be able to understand this.
Yeah.
Now, words have been divided into genders as well, which is known
Right.
as thrilling and pulling, right? If you
Hmm.
observe the terminology astha means faith. If you type down astha in Hindi language and Google it, it will show you that it is pulling. It is thrilling. It is thrilling,
Right.
right? If you observe, Astha is the name which is determined for a woman, not for a man. That means Astha actually means faith, right?
Hmm.
So this 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 is one more indication that faith is feminine in nature, and faith is connected with the future tense. For an example, it is a common saying, right? We need to take a leap of faith, right? When we need to take a new decision in life, that new decision for the timing resides in the future tense, and hence we do not have any other option except taking a leap of faith. Faith is also feminine, and future tense is also feminine. Hence, it is only the feminine who is capable enough to step into the feminine, right?
Right.
So, and one more question which you asked is that about anxiety and depression. Let me tell you something. different kind of mental illness related issues are just a byproduct of depression and anxiety, because except these three realms, present, past, and future, there is no fourth realm of time, right? So, present tense leads you towards nothingness, and it is within the present tense where feminine and masculine unite, right? Present tense is centric, right? So past moves towards the center and future also moves towards the center and unite with each other. Actually, depression and anxiety have become destructive in today's world. Otherwise, it is creative. What do you think? How do thinkers become thinkers? They also overthink, but when they are overthinking, their thoughts are creative, they are productive. That is why they become thinkers, right? But the problem over here is that all these anxiety and depression related problems are happening just because of negative emotions. It is negative and positive emotions which are responsible to create negative and positive thoughts. For an example, I spoke about motion. Mind is in constant motion. There is no movement in memory at all. It is these emotions which are attaching itself with memory, and it is creating the motion of thoughts, the chain of thoughts. Got the point? So some emotions are feminine, some emotions are masculine. The basis of this division in between feminine and masculine itself are emotions, right? So the thing is that depression and anxiety are natural states of mind, and this is what makes a thinker a thinker. But the problem is that within a thinker, within a spiritual brain, positive emotions are prominent. That is why all his thoughts are positive. That is why he's a thinker. But within a human being who is not deeply meditative or spiritual and hence not a thinker, within him negative emotions are prominent. That is why these negative emotions are constantly creating negative thoughts which are troubling you. Otherwise, this thought process within a thinker and this thought process within a mentally ill human being is exactly the same. There is no difference. The difference is only this, that within a mentally sick person, negative emotions are prominent, and within a spiritual thinker, positive emotions are prominent. Hope I gave you a complete answer. And as you said, that in the present tense leads towards nothingness, and present tense is exactly where feminine and masculine unites and become nothing. As soon as feminine and masculine resides, neither feminine remains, neither masculine remains. Nothing remains. That is why feminine and masculine itself becomes nothingness. That's how it is.
Perfect answer. A lot of deep thoughts and studies there. Yeah, thank you so much for answering those questions.
Yeah, so
Many
if
of
anybody would, Hanji Shivaji, if anybody else would like to ask any kind of questions, they could raise their hand and come up over here. Yes, Shivaji, you wanted to say something else, and Ravit, you wanted to ask some kind of a question?
No, I am done. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah,
No, I have nothing to add. All this is just really very interesting, and I'm writing a lot of notes back here.
Okay. So if anybody else would like to ask any kind of question, they could raise their hands and come up over here. Otherwise, it's about time for the event to end. Today, fewer participants arrive. Usually, more participants arrive. I think there is one more event going on. That is why the participants have been distributed. But there is a clash in between two events. So if anybody would like to come up over here, ask any kind of questions, well, great. If not, then I would be ending this event. Fine. Is it perfect, Ravit?
It sure is. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, you followed me and or Pushpinder, and you're looking at your inboxes for some messages from me to learn more about the event on Sunday. Just to remind you, it's this Sunday, the 17th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be recorded, so once you you reserve your spot, and if you can't make it for the whole thing or you can't make it that day, then at least you'll have the recording, which will be really nice to have as well. So we thank you all for being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Until the next time we speak, we wish you a day that matters. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye bye, guys. See ya. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Take care, guys. Bye bye. See ya.